America, Daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play option. Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Dan, markets are in turmoil.
Markets in turmoil, yeah.
Federal government in turmoil, one could say. Well, it depends on your persuasion.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a young little Republican for a long time, and I remember when I was 18, my first vacation I ever took for myself, by myself, saved money, went to Washington, D.C. for a conservative political action.
Did you really?
I was a little holy roller. And so but I remember the first time the government shut down a couple years ago, I thought, after a week of that or whatever, I was like, there's a couple things that are really needed in the government, but overall, it's amazing how much life continues to go on.
That's right. The biggest fear at Panera Bread today, when we were discussing the world, how the world would be different, someone was saying, well, maybe at the Smokies, like the Rangers wouldn't, you couldn't get a good tour of the parts of the Smokies or something, or, but hey, that could be pretty serious, right?
Well, that I told Nolan, my son, the biggest impact for us, I think, is that you can't, the gates are closed to the Smokies.
That's it. The gates closed, which is a big deal.
Yeah, that's right. Now, here's the beautiful thing about, there's other hiking trails. There's other ways to go and things like that. So listen, I'll say this. I put on a couple butterflies last night, Dan. And right at the close, I think it's after close, I did them in ES, as is my custom a lot of times with these overnight moves. I did it about 4:15 yesterday, and I put on 10 downside butterflies.
Balanced or broken?
They're broken. Let me look real quick. They were it was 60. So I think ES was like 67.25 at the time. I did 66.50, so about 75 points down.
Yeah.
The short strikes were 6,600, so about 125 points down, and then 65.60. So it was a very wide, broken wing by 10 points to the downside.
But you were the key is you were short deltas.
Yeah, I added some short deltas with it, and
because I mean,
it played out perfect what I wanted. So basically, I got those for about 80 cents a piece. Now that's ES, so that was actually, you're paying 40 cents. You pay half the price.
Is it?
ES is weird like that. So if it says 80, it's actually 40. So I got them for 80 cents. I closed before bed last night. I took off half of them for $2.
So at that point when you took them off, how much was futures?
Futures were down 32, I think.
32. Okay, probably a little more than they are now. Last time I looked, they were down 27. Okay.
And I set two. So I'm down 5. I've locked in $100. At that point, I think the total thing I spent $400 on it. I locked in basically $500.
Right.
At that point. Right. I've still got 5 left. I put a couple on and set the order for $5 and a couple to set for $10. A couple of them got filled for $5 overnight, about $2.59. No, so we were down 70 points, I think, at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Wow.
And
so you got filled at $5 on that.
Yeah, and I've got 3 left, and so I'm happy. I'm just gonna let them run. I'm not gonna try to be a hero with those. So, actually, I am gonna try to be a hero with. I'm just gonna let them run. So anyway, butterflies, are so interesting to me for that. And the overnight action is interesting. You can really go broke if you try to do that every day.
Sure.
But my thought, Dan, was like,
you had a catalyst.
We had a catalyst and we just kept rebounding. And I thought, we'll probably rebound again, but I bet we could have some overnight action.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you a question. You bring up, I've never really delved into futures options, but the more I hear from you and students and other people, I heard a recent interview with Tom Sosnoff, how, if I heard this correctly, the futures options, and I would say a lot of that's probably the E-mini, which you were trading, is just soaring. And I just think with the way things happen, you almost have to have that in your arsenal, the ability to trade, because you can't wait till like in this situation, if you wait till the opening here, I don't even know if you'd get $2, right? By the time we open, you agree?
Yeah.
I don't know where it's trading at
what
now.
the mark right now is on it is $1.15.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, so you paid 80 cents. It's at $1.15 now, but we've had actual prices at $2 and $5. I think it's just because I know you're pretty active in the futures. These are all E-minis, right?
This is ES. So this is the /ES product, and it's the options on it. Now listen, I would do SPX in a heartbeat if I could. It's just my brokerage doesn't allow trading of SPX overnight.
Which is tasty, you mean?
Tasty, yeah.
Okay.
And so it's not like I'm necessarily the way I look at it, it's the only thing you can do overnight to have an equivalency delta for your XPX positions.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's S&P. It's the only S&P 500 product that you get options access to overnight. So what I'll do a lot of times, and Rusty and Matt and I talk about this all the time. This is my bad habit, is I know the Greeks and I know about hedging. And so a lot of times I actually give up a lot of money because, shout out Rusty. Rusty's a machine. Rusty just trades the plan. Yeah. You talk about a principled guy. Oh yeah. He would be the general. He'd be the general, from when yesterday's talk, when they're talking about you gotta be rigid on all this stuff. Rusty would be like,
he's in.
I'm not. You're talking to me. I'm already here. So, but for me, here's my problem. I looked at yesterday's action. DCs were crazy yesterday. So this week has been an interesting week. And Dan, you tell me, I feel like I'm noticing this more and more where you just get this intraday breathing in and breathing out of all.
Yeah.
I didn't have that many positions on yesterday, and I was going through some massive.
Yeah, I've watched the DCs the last 2 days. I've had a few on, and it's like you're up 8%, you're at 0. You're up 7%. This back and forth type thing. And definitely fluctuating. I'll be anxious to see what it is at the opening today. And you're really not, and in those situations, you're not really, at least the DCs I had, you're not hitting the short strikes yet, right? Right?
Not even close.
You're not even close to the short strikes. No. And you're just seeing up, down, up, it's 8, 9% or 10%. Would you what do you think of the liquidity? Have you noticed in the E-minis?
Yes. I gave up. So there's a couple downsides to ES, and I've lost. I hope I'm net positive in ES. I would like to think after this year with Liberation Day I am, but I've lost a lot of money doing some dumb things. And here's the dumbest stuff. Slippage is pretty rough. So I'm not saying 50 cent slippage, but even getting out last night. Now some of those were automated, so I just automated. I set a GCT order and for $5, it got filled. So there's nothing, the other side of that is when you're trying to get out manually, I think I gave up 15 or 20 cent slippage. And it's like SPX, it's 5 cents at a clip.
Okay.
So that's not terrible for 10 o'clock at night. I mean, it's not terrible, but that's also that's probably pretty normal. But I mean, I've definitely paid more at different times. The problem with overnight, trying to close stuff overnight, is you kind of have to wait for there's busier times of the day. So last night, about 10 or 11, we were down 30. The market's really not, no one's scared. You know what I mean?
Right. So
no one's calling the hedge fund desks back to the office, you know?
Right.
And so you pay a little bit more. No one's going to give you anything for free. I think I got out at 2:59. Well, if you look at 3 a.m. is when Europe opens.
Oh, so that had some down effect.
That's a volume. In fact, if you did a kind of study on like moves overnight, I would guess the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. range is when most of the moves happen.
So definitely you have to have orders in.
You have to have orders in, but that's Europe. That's because Europe's opening, and they're trading. So, in fact, most of the volume, I think, is Europeans at that hour. And so, I think the other thing, as I say about it, is when the product itself is confusing. You do it enough, you get used to it. But so on SPX, if you're paying 80 cents for something, it says 80 cents. You paid 80 cents, right? Yeah. Well, ES, for some strange reason, ES is double the price on the computer of what it actually is. So if it says 80 cents, it's 40 cents. So if I got out for $5, it says I paid 80 cents. I actually paid 40 cents. It says I got out for $5. I actually got out for $2.50.
Really? It's okay.
Yeah. So it's just, you have to so that gets confusing when you're trying to hedge overnight. And I have stopped this. This is the other thing, as I say, with the DCs and the hedging. I don't want anybody to take away like, oh, you could hedge your DCs overnight. You really can't. And here's why. What are you going to hedge with? Like, deltas aren't going to help you in that instance. Like the vol that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan, correct me. You know so much more about this than I do, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I just don't know. I looked at yesterday those movements, and let's say you wanted to lock in a loss. You wanted to like limit your loss. I really don't know any way to do it with vol like that, except for just sell premium, and I don't want to sell premium.
Not at those. I mean, no, not yet, right?
Yeah, because there's not really much you can hedge. No. I mean, like if you're long Vega,
you're not hedging delta. Yeah, you're not in any trouble price move, right?
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, I mean, at that, leave it. And the other thing is, even coming into yesterday, we're still, we're talking about a government shutdown. We're still in the teens, right? We're not. I mean, so what are you gonna, you want to hedge your long volatility at a 15 or 16 VIX? Good grief, right? I mean, so you just have to leave it alone.
You have to let it play out.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
So this overnight move was not based on hedging. It was just based on like, I'm taking a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Stephen, you're right. The half price thing was due to the 50 multiplier on ES instead of the usual 100 multiplier.
But you're getting, I mean, if you did something similar on SPX, it's cheaper here because you're getting span. What's it? I think of the meat span.
Yeah, if you're wanting to do some, like, basically span margin is like a poor man's portfolio margin.
Yeah, right.
And so basically, like, they'll give you a lot more margin. They'll give you actually way too much, I argue, for a more dangerous product, in my opinion.
It's almost like portfolio margin for a...
Yeah, in my humble opinion, it makes no sense, but I'll certainly take it for overnight action. So the portfolio margin is, if you have it, it takes care of this. But in the years, like looking at ES and trading ES I was always amazed at how much margin they would give me, just back before portfolio margin, basically. And so, like those calendars, reverse calendars, stuff like that you're technically short, like they'll let you sling them,
and they should. I mean,
right.
They should, because if you look at the risk on those, And with I'm surprised more people don't do, I don't know, this could be a crazy statement. A lot of the stuff they do in SPX, NES, like during the day.
I think the other thing is commissions.
Oh, commissions
are now, it has changed. I don't even know what it is. For a long time, it's $5.
Contract?
I don't think it's a contract, but it is more expensive than SPX.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you're putting a 10 lot on, I don't even remember. I think I paid like $60 or $70 in commissions. I mean, I could be wrong, but anyway, it is more expensive a product
but the
trade.
Convenience for what you described last night, it's more than worth it, because if it's down 70, and you're doing especially a speculative trade, you don't want to wait always till the morning, right? You want to have something in if they reach for something, and you had an opportunity at 3 a.m. when futures were down 72.
Yeah.
That's the wonderful thing about it. Yeah.
I listened to a article or a news thing yesterday talking about gambling and how addictive it is. And they were talking about DraftKings and how basically DraftKings has this concept called micro betting, where you're betting, and the way they put it is like, we're giving you basically an opportunity to bet on anything. Mm-hmm. And people say, that's terrible. I say, yeah, that is terrible. Anyway, let me log in at 2 a.m. to do my futures options trade. That's how I feel about it. It's one of the few, listen, I will say this. I don't really know if this is healthy or not. This is just a confession. It's safe space. It's one of the sweetest, like, little pleasures I have in life when you make money overnight on little bets, like little things that you're doing. Like, I remember Thanksgiving, it was Black Friday, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago at this point. Yeah. It actually might have been pre-COVID. But there was a Black Friday, and I had something on, and we went down like 80 or 90 points overnight. Black Friday.
Yeah.
I got up at like 3 a.m, just made a pot of coffee. It was like I was just like,
oh yeah. I mean, it does seem like a neat thing, but that also could go the other way too.
I was just about to say, I've also been up at 3 a.m, not enjoying it.
Yeah.
So and the other thing with hedging, I mean, listen, we could do a whole series on hedging, and probably will.
Yeah.
You can go heavy-handed if you don't understand what you're actually hedging, to where you actually have flipped, and now your hedge is the main trade, and that's a weird mental state to be in.
Big time.
Dan, I'm sure you've dealt with this, where it's like, I start with this butterfly. It's like, well, I'm gonna buy some extra wings. Well, now you've got so many extra wings that you don't even care about. The butterfly's hampering you. You know?
And you've created, you thought you were hedging the risk in the butterfly. Now you've got more risk in your individual hedge. But it is it's just, bottom line is, if you get to know the ES, it can be a very helpful. I see more and more people doing stuff at night, especially if you have even an extreme move late at night, and fade it with just a credit spread, right? If we're down too much and you think it's a little over, do a defined risk put credit spread. On the upside, you can do a defined risk call credit spread in the E-minis. And those can be, as long as you know what you're doing, you know what your risk is and everything like that. So,
there's ways to set it where it's inexpensive. And then it's like anything in life, any amount of trading. I mean, you can go overboard with it. I mean, listen, shout out Dan Sheridan, who had a class a number of years ago called Trading by the Greeks. And I think your analogy was basically an airline pilot doesn't, like, the higher quality airline pilot, a higher grade airline pilot, you're not basing things on what you're seeing at that point. You're basing things on instruments, your instrument panel. Yeah. Well, the Greeks are your instrument panel. And so you look at a good example of that is, say, I want to hedge my DCs. I'm going to buy a straddle. Like, how do I do that? Well, it depends on what Greeks you're trying to hedge. Everything depends on that.
It's worth, I mean, they're a bit confusing at first till you get used to them, but it's good to, it's the whole picture, right? When you're managing trades in the world of risk management, is the graph important? Yeah, graphs. I mean, we're visual people, but the graphs have limitations, right? Especially as you get closer to expiration, the Greeks can be like crazy, right? So if you can throw in the Greeks plus the picture, some people try to drive the airplane like Indiana Jones style, right? In the movie Indiana, it just seemed like he's just kind of this, wild guy, but if you can combine the picture with the Greeks and an understanding of that, it makes it a little easier to fly the airplane, even when you're doing some of these. And try this is a good story for butterfly/shark week, butterfly week. This was a good example of a directional butterfly, broken wing for speculative, not terribly expensive, but it gave you some short delta for the downside and it worked out. I think that's one of the uses. Wouldn't you say? They're flexible butterflies. You can use them for range bound trading. If you place the shorts closer to at the money, you can do the range bound stuff, or you can do speculative. They're wonderful, cheaper shots. How you can picture them out of the money for speculative trade. So butterflies are a pretty neat strategy. Flexible. Flexible. You don't do double calendars as much for a spec trade. Not that you can't. I mean, you could just do one side of it. I'll just do the quick calendar or something. But I just think butterflies have a lot of variety that
you're just not going to get as much bang for the buck on a bet. I say bet on a trade. If for a double calendar, you could set it up where you get more than others, but you're just not going to get, like, at that point, you basically, like, if you're doing a downside play, you learn from my mistake. This is by no means an expert, but I'm an expert in mistakes. What you don't want, just general rules, is you don't want a symmetric butterfly to the downside, because if Vega explodes, you actually don't get paid as much as you think you
mean
would.
Like a balanced one?
Yeah, balance. Yeah,
correct.
You want to unbalance it because you want to get some deltas. You want to have more closer longers than the shorters.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. I'm not even speaking words at this
point.
point.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And so, but you don't want to pay that much. I mean, that's the main part of it. Is you really don't want to pay $4 a trade for that.
Right. And broken wings are going to be more expensive than, when you mean symmetric, you're meaning balanced, right?
Yeah. Like in this case, I did basically one that was 75 points away. Well, basically, really, when it starts, you just have a long put because the others are so far away.
Right.
Well, why do it? Well, because there's some Greeks involved that if it goes down, when you've locked in some Vega, when you go ahead and sell the short, like you've neutralized a little bit of that. You still can profit from it, but you've neutralized some of that. The other thing is, if it's nice to get, if it opens below that asymmetric, if it really tanked 150 points, well, now you don't have to immediately in your mind think about closing it, because the peak is 30 points above that.
That's right. Oh yeah.
And so it gives you some time during the day to think that,
Yeah. No, so, it's wonderful. I just want to say one shout out to the symmetric butterfly but again, the symmetric butterfly is going to be usually 30% cheaper. A balanced butterfly will be 30% cheaper, but it's very finicky, like Troy said.
Yep.
But I see a use of it, especially as you get, let's say we're Wednesday, Thursday in the market. Yesterday I was looking at like the expected move for Friday, expected move today was 40 or 50 points, something like that. And so if you put, I was looking yesterday, you can put a 15 wide balanced butterfly on the put side, put your short at the expected move, 50 down, 15 wide. I mean, you're like 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents. in a $7,000 vehicle, SPX, right? It could have been 80 cents yesterday. But the point is, those are in terms of the cheapest, highest yield, but they're more precision, right? Whereas what I like about the broken wing butterfly that Troy did is you got the short deltas right away. And the balanced butterfly out of the money, yes, they're cheaper, but you're not starting out with a lot of short deltas. And if we go down too far, your bearish butterfly could lose you money. Whereas with the broken wing, Troy's going home with something, right? Because he's short deltas. It's just a matter of how much. So it's, I think, weighing those things, towards the end of the week. If on Thursday you say, I'm going to bet on the expected move for Friday, if you hit it, you can hit a 200 or 300% return. I mean, it's amazing on those things. So just,
I agree.
But it's more for sure. It's more for sure with a broken wing directional butterfly. You'll come home with something, right?
You come home with something, yeah. And yeah, I agree. Well, speaking of butterflies, the people asked yesterday for two things, Dan. And they asked, one, if we could find a double butterfly setup, a butterfly to the upside and downside.
Even though Tom didn't like that, Tom had a funny comment. Did you see Tom?
Yeah. Tom,
he did not like that.
I love underdogs. I love underdogs in general.
I figured you'd go after that. Yeah.
Well, I love underdogs, and therefore I love supporting people who live in Scotland.
Whoa!
Shout out Tom.
He's gonna
shout out Tom. So two, I was busy last night. I did that for about 30 minutes. Looked at some. They were all terrible. I thought I'm gonna have to put my hat on to think about this. Let's just look at futures real quick. Oh, never mind. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to look at my futures. Yeah. So that's what we did last night. But lo and behold, we have a rescuer, because the other thing people ask for is we always look at these orbs, these opening range breakouts to the upside. Is there a play to the downside? And shout out Austin T. Austin T said,
he's been hot lately.
Well, he said in the OO show channel yesterday at 11:48, probably also looking at futures the same time I was. He said, go easy on me. Oh, actually, he said, don't go easy on me. He said, first time posting, don't go easy on me. Here's an idea for a low orb iron fly. And I give you Austin T's low orb iron fly. Now, first thing you got to notice with this, it's an interesting trade. Like it is an interesting, like shout out Austin T. I kind of like this. What are we doing? Well, he's using the opening range breakout the first 30 minutes instead of an hour. And that's easy to do in Option Omega. So basically, you set what the closing range is. So in this case, you say use opening range breakout. The end time is 10 a.m. and he's using the low only. You can use high and low, high only, or low only. And he's looking at the open, high, low value, which is a good way to do it. And what's he doing? Well, he's selling a 50 delta, right? And then he's also, this is a little funny to me, he just changed the way you do this, but he's also more or less selling a 50 delta call.
Okay, so he is selling the 50 delta. Is it just a different way of doing it, or
it just one was that, I mean, you could switch it a little bit, but it works. If you can see in the thing, you're selling the same put and the same call most every time. So, and then it's 40 wide. It's a 40 wide butterfly.
So it's a balanced butterfly.
It's a balanced butterfly, and you're collecting, 15, 20. I'm interested to see April, what you were collecting. Yeah, I mean, during all the madness in April, you got up to 33, 34, back when the VIX was 46. So you're collecting a lot of money for that, depending on what Vol's doing. But let me share this real quick, that way I don't forget this. Put that in there. Put that in there. So it's a pretty symmetric butterfly. I mean, there's nothing crazy about this. which I like.
Yeah, just an at the money 40 wide balanced butterfly, and generally those are. I haven't looked enough at the 0-day, but I would guess it would be similar. If you look at a 15-day or 30-day 40 wide balanced butterfly, you're going to be short a couple deltas, especially when we're in the teens. Now in a 0-day, I still would imagine it would be a little bit short delta starting out, but I'm not positive on that. Does it?
Yeah, you could. Let me look real quick. Go do math, which is hard for me.
Oh, you have a way to look at this, Troy? You have
I do, but I'm not going to show it this morning because we are actually in the midst of looking at doing some deep diving on Greeks, and so
okay.
the Greeks will not be correct this morning, I promise you. So the thing we're working on is in progress, and so, but yes, you will be short delta. You will be short delta. A symmetric fly like that, in general, Dan, I think you're right. You're going to be short delta to start.
Well,
and so this one, I like this because it's a ride or die. You just kind of set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And this is why the low orb, I think, breaks people's brains a lot of times. This is my theory about why this works with low orb. When you set a breakout to the downside, 30 minutes, an hour, whenever.
Yeah.
The genius of this trade, I think, is that he's actually waiting till between 11 and 12:30 to put this on. And most of the time he's getting it put on, say 11, 11:30, just seeing if there's any 12s. I mean, you could probably even limit that, but he might have, I don't know, you could play around with it. But he's putting it on basically. What's happening? Well, at 10:30, somewhere at 11, we broke below the low, the first 30-minute low.
Mm-hmm.
What this test is showing is that odds are you're probably going to go back into range, and you're probably going to end the day somewhere in the range of where the first 30 minutes was.
Meaning it'll go back up?
Yeah, it'll go back up.
Hmm.
So it's not actually playing a breakout. It's using the breakout strategy to actually get neutral in the range of the day. And so it could go up, but you're probably just going to be sitting right there somewhere is the bet, right? And, you kind of see this happening. You opened it at a 6661. You closed it at 6661. That's a max winner, right?
Yeah.
6451, 6460. You're still well within the target,
But take those two above that. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, 6494, 6513, so 20 points.
17, yeah, just
you were right outside the profit 10. This one's gonna hurt you. 63, 69, 64, 16, but that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. 63, 48, 63, 96. You did. There's nothing you can do.
Find a downside, Troy. Most of those were ups. Most of those went up. Find more.
True. Let me
find some down ones.
Yeah. So it's gonna be hard the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, this is you're right.
There we go. So 51.73, 50.74. So almost 100 points below it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get that, but the interesting thing is 60% of the time, you're going to close within some sort of profit target, profit tent, I should say.
So, Troy, I tell you, I like this concept, but I would love to test this. And it will on, for example, I love balance flies like this. We'll look at one like a 70 wide balance fly. I generally do them because you're going to be, especially when the VIX is in the teens, looking these maybe 20 to 30 days out, right? Balance butterfly, maybe 70 wide. You can do it in the calls or puts. But in those cases, especially when VIX is in the teens, especially if VIX is 16 or lower, let's face it, the market's still going up, right? If VIX is 16 or lower, you're having more up days than down days. If VIX is 17, you're starting to get some down days. VIX 18 or lower, you're getting more down days. So a balanced butterfly, generally, if you set it up 20 to 30 days from expiration, especially if you're 60 or 70 wide, you're short deltas. You can handle a 200-point move down like nothing, right? You can.
Yeah.
So I would love on those this downside orb by Austin. I think is a wonderful idea because you don't, with balanced butterflies, at least 20 to 30 days out, I never see anybody have struggles on the downside. The worst is if it goes down over 200 points, just exit. And when we come back up, maybe do it again. But I think the concept, and your risk is the upside. It's not the downside. So I think if you can use this orb where you're just picking more days that's stay down there. I really would like that. Now, the other thing I like is generally if you said to me, when are the best times to, as far as these balanced butterflies, when VIX starts getting 18 or higher. They're literally like, fortified tanks on the downside because you're getting less short deltas as the volatility goes higher. So 18, 19, 20, they can handle that environment. Right. When you're a balance, but it's just my realm has been more 20 to 30 day, but the 0 day, it's interesting. I really like the idea. I imagine the downside, because as you said, you guys haven't seen that many orbs to the downside, right?
No. Because here's the reality. Most of the time, this is what people don't appreciate. I don't think most of the time we go back up into range. Whereas the call butterflies or the upside breakouts, a lot of times, just statistically, there is a higher chance of it ending the day above that range. It's just a statistical thing. The markets usually go up, right?
Right. Which is what you want. If we can figure an orb where, statistically it's going to be down at least where you're at or a little bit lower. I don't want it coming back 30 points from where you did it. The last thing I'll say on the balanced butterflies, I was talking about 20 or 30 days in a low vol environment, like someone put one on the other day, in a low vol environment, because you have so much room on the downside, you can look at this and you don't really get much long delta till you're down 200 points. So because of that, instead of starting the short strike at the money, you'll start the short strike 30 points up. Because you have so much room to the downside, you're just kind of balancing out a little bit. But again, those are 20 to 30 day type butterflies. But those are the butterflies you can do with no adjustment, really, because the downside is take your money, or just if you get a monster move, you can exit for near break even. But anyway, this orb for the downside is very intriguing. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it.
I wish I could be harder on you. You wanted the rough, you wanted the drill sergeant treatment, but unfortunately, it's like one of my favorite lines from Forrest Gump, greatest movie of all time. He's in the Army, and the drill sergeant just gets in his face and says something to the effect of, what is your mission, Gump? And he just screams back, to do whatever it is you tell me to do, drill sergeant. And the drill sergeant says, basically, confound it, you're going to be a 5-star general one day.
Is that what he said?
They just Austin, you're take this in the best way, because I love Forrest Gump. You're the Forrest Gump this morning.
Right.
So
that's right.
Just a war hero. Anyway, well, listen, guys, we're going to get trading. I've got some more ES stuff to deal with at 9:30, and then we'll go from there. So we've been looking. We did the downside. I don't know if tomorrow will come, but I'm hoping in the next 2 days, Lord willing, that we will do a double side butterfly that shows some sort of profit. It's going to be fun. So shout out Austin. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good trade.